When the world is in disarray and I just want to avoid the stresses of everyday life, I tend to throw myself into a good, old-fashioned fantasy game. You know, something with swords and magic and demons that you can actually slice and dice. That's why I'm going to spend today singing the praises of the Dark Seal franchise, a two-part arcade series from Data East that is part dungeon crawler and shoot 'em up. It's the 30th anniversary of this action-packed coinsucker series, and I want to celebrate. So turn back now if you don't want to know what happens next, because today we're going to spoil the stories and endings for both Gate of Doom and Wizard Fire. This is Game Over, the early years. Our story starts in the Kingdom of Etruria, a once peaceful land that has been poisoned by evil thoughts. This has allowed the Gate of Doom to break open and unleash an army of fantasy monsters onto the kingdom. The prophecy says that 4 powerful warriors will band together in order to lock the Gate of Doom and save the people from the monsters of darkness. These brave fighters include Knight Carl Greystone, Freya the Wizard, a bard named Ryger Hawk, and a mysterious ninja that goes by the name Kirikazi. Okay, look, this isn't much of a story, and let's be honest, Gate of Doom doesn't have a very good ending. All this is really just setting up the greatness that is Wizard Fire. So how about this? Why don't we just go through this as quickly as possible? We basically fight through castles, through the snowy mountains, high above the forest, and into the lava-filled caves. Always to find a sinister boss ready to stop your quest dead in its tracks. And every time you beat one of these demons, the king has a new quest for you that will ultimately lead our heroes to finding the key and then locking the Gate of Doom. Now, in case you're curious, it's King Lucifer that's been causing all the havoc around Etruria. We first fight this incredibly tough and massive undead wizard, which then turns into a tense one-on-one battle against this knight. The evil forces have captured Princess Amelia and frozen her guards in stone, so this fight could not be any more important. The good news is that we finally slay the monster, and this is what happens next. Some time has passed since the four heroes successfully defeated King Lucifer, but the evil on the other side of the Gate of Doom continues to plot their revenge against the humans. Their new plan is to unlock the Dragon Shrine and raise the army of the undead, which will supposedly sweep them right into power. Unfortunate for them, 5 brave fighters have banded together in order to make sure that doesn't happen. This includes the Knight, Wizard, and Bard from the first game, along with Jade, Greataxe, the Dwarf, and an elf named Emina. This is a pretty straightforward adventure where we fight through a village, swamp, and crystal caves before discovering a floating castle in the desert. The 5 heroes end up battling some truly impressive villains like the guy who turns into a tree, a dragon skeleton, these 2 statue guys, and even this creepy spider girl. Ugh. But the best thing about Wizard Fire is the story, which plays out through a series of voice-acted cinemas. Here's a supercut of all the cinemas leading up to the final encounter inside that floating castle.
Looks like full of dark work. This town was beautiful. Not anymore, crush this dark soul.
Jade, where have you been?
While scouting the area, I heard rumors that Mama might still be nearby. I'm Professor Dark Soul. I'm here. We must stop him. Let's continue. We will make him pay. Curse, poison, water, are precious to death.
What is that?
The enemy's castle. So, do we proceed?
No, Jade. We'll use magic.
How?
The Cave of Akbar. There's an icon inside which will transport us. Let's go!
Alright, now that we finally made our way into the evil fortress in the sky, it's time to take on the evil sorcerer causing all of this havoc. He's not as big or impressive as King Lucifer in the first game, but this is still a challenging fight. We go back and forth, way up above the kingdom that our heroes know and love, all while dodging skeletons and doing everything possible to close that evil portal once and for all. It takes some persistence, but we eventually kill the evil leader, and this is what happens next.
Looks like this is goodbye.
I hope we work together again. I think we will. Yes.
Just send word if anyone needs a hand. Good luck, my friend. And good luck to all of you, too.
Unfortunately, this is yet another game that hints at a sequel that will never be. That seems to be a trend in this Game Over series, doesn't it? That aside, I kinda love the early 1990s cheesiness of these cinemas, especially when it comes to the muddled voice acting. Also, the overpowering sound mixing, which just makes everything that much harder to understand. The whole thing, all of it, it just brings a giant smile to my face, and it's exactly what I needed after the way too hard boss fight at the very end. I mean, the story wasn't all that great, and the first game was made to suck every last token out of your pockets, but I would have been totally down for finishing out the trilogy with a fun third installment. Oh well, at least we were able to close up the Dark Seal. And look, it's those small victories that make me happy when everything in the news seems so bad. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Game Over, the early years. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new episodes every week. Well, almost every week. Now, here's the question I have for you. What is your favorite old school fantasy game? Let me see your picks in the comments below. Alright, so a quick update about what's been going on. As you may have noticed, I missed a week of updates. Don't worry, I'm not sick. Everything's fine. But what did happen, and this was completely out of my control, but I had a weird power outage situation that lasted a lot longer than I expected, and then also involved me spending a whole afternoon with an electrician. And I'm also dealing with a few other real-life issues that are of course related to the general shutdown that my state seems to be going through connected to the coronavirus. Guys, I'm doing my best to catch up and not let these issues impact the content here at Defunct Games. I have a review of Persona 5 Royal going up later this week, so know that I'm still hard at work and playing modern games. I hope all of you are staying safe and taking the precautions needed during this trying time. Boy, I'm not sure how to segue into this, but I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.